work pieces are warping like crazy, which I've had this walnut in my shop for a good 5-6 months. So it's well acclimated to the environment. So it's not making sense why these still work. This kind of gives you the visual. Do you see how warped it is here? So cutting this on the table saw was a little tricky. I kind of had to use my fingers to press down and then rotate my pressure to the back to get an even dado all the way through. So let's go ahead, clean it up with a chisel, get everything else cut, and then we can do the whole book assembly today, which is really, really exciting. I wanted to show you guys really quickly. I like to be safer than sorry. So I always use my digital gauge to make sure I mark it right at 45 degrees. Then I also go in with a square to double check just manually. This is kind of like the old school way to do it. A digital gauge is the new school way to do it. So I like to do both just to make sure my blade is perfectly set before I do any miters. All right, next step is to cut all of the 45s. I just made sure my blade was perfectly angled. Now, the front of the box is going to have a 45 on both sides. And then the side walls is going to only have a 45 on one side. So hopefully everything lines up correctly in that regard. And then we're going to go in and get a cutting for all of these pieces. Alright, so I got my back panel here and I got my side panel. Now I'm fitting these pieces in perfectly so like this. So I need to cut these back panels down just a little bit to account for the extra width that the side panels are adding. So I'm going to grab my handy dandy little tool here, loosen her up, line her up, and I'm going to line up the ruler edge perfectly flush to the edge of my back panel, and that way I know exactly the amount of length I need to cut off of the back panel to get it all squared up. Alright, so you guys can see here kind of like the dry fit of what this watch box is going to start looking like. So on the inside down here is where the base of the box will be. This slot is serving as the drawer slide. This will be the base of where the watches sit, and then this is going to be where the lid goes. Back here is where I have the little ledge for your finger where I'm going to cut out the secret compartment, which I need to do now. Drawer face. Now I want to be able to do a continuous grain so that when you slide the drawer in, you see that grain continue all the way across. Now that does mean I'm going to have to do some gluing and some finessing in order to make up for blade width disparity, but I don't know y'all. If you guys have a better suggestion on how to cut out drawer faces and maintain the piece that you're cutting out, drop it in the comments below because this is the best solution I can come up with. I'll show you what I mean in a second here. So I have the pieces glued back up together. So this crossbar is glued this way, and I have the crossbar glued this way. That way, when I use this drawer face, it's going to be a continuous grain from the front of the box into the drawer face, back to the front of the box.